In this special Commissioners Court today, it's 10 o'clock. We do have a quorum, and with that, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda would be to consider and possibly approve a burn ban for the unincorporated areas of Cooke County. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ray Fletcher to talk to us about burn ban.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Provided you the current Cache Byram drought index that shows that overall of the county we're at 592, 693 in the higher areas and 469 in the lesser affected areas. That's pretty significantly high, even for this time of year, and would indicate, as we know, that the fuels out there, the fine fuels especially, the grasses and the smaller diameter fuels are significantly dry and vulnerable to fire spread. The drought indicators are that a portion of the county is in moderate drought and another third of the county or so is extremely dry. That is true for down in the ground soil moisture. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily impact significantly the ability of the fuels to green up with the heat and the dryness that we're experiencing. Out in the county right now, there is a significant dryness. We fortunately, so far, have not had a significant number of spontaneous fires off the side of the road, but we are having agricultural fires, related fires, welding and cutting related fires, and I think that at this point, we are just waiting for a significant fire to happen. It's the potential is there. With a burn ban, I think it's very much we're very judicious in recommending it. We don't want to take anybody's ability or right away to do as they want on their property, but at this point, I feel that any fire during the day has the potential to very quickly, before we can get there and do anything about it, get off of anybody's property and get their neighbors and the next neighbor's property. And so while we are protecting that person from themselves, to some extent, we're really protecting the entire county and all of the citizens to try to ensure that we don't have that happen as much as we can to help facilitate that. We also have to understand that we have 11 fire departments in the county, but 10 of those are volunteer. And so for every fire that does occur, you're pulling away people from their family, their work, their activities to come help you and your neighbors in your time of need. And so anything we can do to lessen the impact on them and have them out in the middle of the day in 105-degree heat with their gear on trying to protect your property from someone who shouldn't have been burning in the first place, we should do that. And so at this time, I would recommend that we do implement a burn ban for Cooke County for 90 days or until rescinded by this body. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Anybody have any questions for?
Motion to approve burn ban.
Okay, we have a motion to approve burn ban from Commissioner Snuggs. Second from Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
There are none. Now, is that for 90 days or?
Yes, sir.
As you mentioned?
Yes, sir. The
Okay.
order, if you would all sign that, please, now, I'll get that taken care of and get it put out. But that would be for 90 days, or it can be rescinded sooner, or it can be extended beyond that with a meeting of this body. And it is punishable by a fine of up to $500 as a Class C misdemeanor. It will be published on the county website. It'll be provided to all the local media, and it will also be on Facebook as soon as I can get back over to the office.
Okay.
And entails, you can still cook out, barbecue and grill. You just have to have a grill with an enclosure and 10-foot cleared in all directions down to concrete, rock, or dirt with no flammable materials around the grill. Welding and hot work are still allowed. There's just some precautions they have to take to facilitate that and make sure that doesn't start any fires. So it shouldn't be a significant impact on it.
Something I think we need to say also, Ray, is, people got stuff around their houses. Keep mowed around your house. I mean, if it's dry, I understand, but tall weeds and that kind of stuff, debris piles, that all enhances your house having a problem We've run into that several times, me being on the fire department, and when that stuff, I mean, a wood pile or your wood that you put on your back porch for the winter time, that sitting on your back porch now is not a good ideal. So,
Right.
and I know it's hot, but just think about those. You can go on the Texas Forestry Service website. I think they have a deal to kind of help you and have your water hoses ready, or a sprinkler system or something, kind of be looking for that could happen, that you can maybe help yourself get that wetted down before the fire gets to you.
Right.
If you see one coming, or that might help you also.
Right, and then, as we know, and if anybody wants to look it up, you can look up the Wildland Urban Interface, the WUI, and that talks a lot about living next to a field or next to an open area that could be fueled like that, and the goal is to break the chain of the fire getting to your house. So keep your grass mowed short, keep your water hoses hooked up, don't have dog houses, wood piles, evergreens, dead grasses in your flower bed, anything up and around your house that if it does catch on fire, it's going to conduct it or transition it into your property and your home. And there was a great video of that, unfortunately, for a lot of residents in Baldwin. Where was it at? Down in the Metroplex around north of Dallas, I believe, last year. And they were mowing a large open field with tall grass. And abutting that was the privacy fence around the whole subdivision. And the privacy fence connected to the houses and their sheds. And it was the right day with the right wind, and it burned 13 or 15 houses to the ground, and that carried it, allowed it to transition from the grass to the fence to the shed to the house. And those properties that had a good open area between that didn't have the problems that the ones that allowed it to ladder into their homes. So, yes, great opportunity to put that message out, to clean up around your place. That makes a significant difference and might give us the amount of time we need to help take care of your house.
And then something else that'll help the fire departments and the sheriff's departments, have you an escape route. If that fire is coming towards you and they're telling you to get out, by all means, there's a reason. So have an escape route. Need two of them. You need to be, if it's coming from one side, you need to go one way, or if it's coming from the other, you need to go the other way. And be thinking about that. I mean, it's getting serious. We've had some stuff down around, I might say it wrong, Bloom or Blum. They had a big one down there, I think lost 15 homes. And, these fire departments are out there trying to stop the fire. If it hits your house, they're trying to stop it till it hits the next house. And it's sad to say, but they're going to write that house off. I mean, they're trying to save everything in front of it. So they're doing all they can to get it done, but we need help. I mean, the fire departments need help, and
homeowners are their best line of defense.
the homeowners, you gotta help us also, and kind of keeping cleaned up around there. So it's right now it's very vital to have that. So
Thank you all very much.
Anybody else have any questions for Ray before he? So, item number 2, the burn ban passes 5-0. Item number 3 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Main Street parking lot. Commissioner Zicki.
Okay, concrete's all poured, they're ready to start striping right now. We've got an issue around outside the parking lot with asphalt. It's rotten. And the city's asking us if we would, they asked for 3 foot, if we would bring 3 foot out. But anyways, talked to Vessel, and we've got 8,400, I believe, left in the contingency. I believe is what it is. We use 1,600 out of the 10,000. So they said they could put a 2 foot strip of asphalt all the way around there that 80 with the rest of the contingency. So I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that or what we need to do. But, as of right now, it was agreed upon as the 1 foot area around which asphalt's already chipped up past that 1 foot.
they're gonna cut it and then pull it up and then lay it back.
Right.
I wonder how many loads of asphalt that'd take.
I don't know, I've kind of somewhat mentioned it, maybe we could try to help. They didn't want to do that, they want to make it right, so.
Do you have a recommendation in the form of motion, or what would you like to do?
Well, either we can argue with the city or we can go ahead and do the 2 foot. They wanted us to do the 3 foot. I didn't think of it because it was in the card. Talked with Vessel and he said he could make it happen with the contingency that's left.
You make that with contingency?
Is he done? Would we have any other use for that contingency that you can see?
The only other thing is that what we're gonna put in where we could get away with the turf and stuff. If we're gonna put one rock in there, what we're doing
Washed
there.
rock or something, river rock.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could saw cut it, it'd almost be easy for us to do, but I don't,
I don't know if the city will approve us working on it.
I would suspect what, at the most, 2 truckloads, $2,000 worth of material, so probably the rest of that's labor.
I don't know.
My only concern is they're probably gonna do it with a small lay-down machine, which none of us have to make it
Right.
pretty.
I'd drop it in their skid steer. If it was saw cut, it would be hard to make pretty. Drop it in there with a skid steer and then turn around and take one of those small packers I've got and run over to.
Yeah,
But
didn't let Gary do it. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Gary's gonna do it.
I don't
For
get it.
nothing.
But it doesn't get approved through the city. I mean, we're ready to pay Vessel to do 1 foot. That's in the contract, so I don't know how we can come in and do that other foot without, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I get that.
That would be a,
While he's there, if he cuts it, let him do it, yeah.
Did you say the original contract called for a 1 foot?
yes. Well,
Okay.
that's what the plans were drew up
And
as.
when they're cutting it, the streets,
It's
when
gonna
they've been there,
chip.
it's been broke off,
Yeah,
so it needs
yeah.
to come back another foot to clean it up.
Okay, gotcha.
But doesn't it come back another 2 foot, you know?
I make a motion that we use the contingency money to finish the job up right,
All right.
do the extra foot.
You want to put a limit on that?
Just a
It's there.
contingency money.
Did you say it's 8,400 or?
I believe that whatever it is, pretty sure it's 84. We need 1,600 to do those sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
There's 10,000, so it should be 8,400.
Yeah, for the 8,400 contingency, that would be the cap. That'd be my motion.
Okay, motion would be that we go ahead and do the additional asphalt work with contingency money up to 8,400. Does that sound reasonable?
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, second. Commissioner Sicking, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If there are none, that motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consider and possibly accept a donation in the amount of $25,000 to chip and seal County Road 360, starting at FM 373 to the end of the cul-de-sac, 2,640 feet at 947 per running foot. Commissioner Arndt.
I was approached by a group that's on that road and went through talked to Shelley, and we've got to fill out this form, so we did that. And I've told them it might not be this year, but we would earmark that money to do that road. It's some nice homes out there, and they're wanting to do it. They paid the $25,000. We got a check, so I make the motion to approve.
Motion Commissioner Arndt, you think 25,000 will cover it pretty easily, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs,
Trying to find that on the map just out of curiosity.
to accept the donation in the amount of 25,000 to Chip and Seal County Road 360. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. That
Yes.
motion,
Sorry.
Oh.
It's just a cul-de-sac street.
yeah.
Small cul-de-sac
You going all the way from the FM to the,
to
to
the
the
end.
end of the cul-de-sac?
In the
Yeah.
cul-de-sac, right?
Yes.
So,
20 foot wide.
that motion passes 5-0. Item number 5 is consider and possibly approve changes to the FY '24 budget. And I know, for instance, Commissioner Sicking had a couple of items in mind. If you'd like to start us off.
Sure. We talked about the COLA. I don't think we ever officially nixed the idea. I think we need to get that taken out.
Yeah. I don't see the COLA happening. You guys see the COLA happening?
I just don't think we got the money to do it.
But did we budget any money for it, Shelley, for the
Yeah.
COLA? It's in there, okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we pull the COLA out of the budget.
Second.
We have a motion to pull the COLA out of, consideration for the COLA out of the budget. Did you second that?
I did.
Okay, second, Commissioner Hollowell. I will abstain on that.
How much is that, Shelley? You looking at the number by chance?
I think originally it was like 465,000 some odd cents.
$462,878. $462,878.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And one, with that motion passes 4 to 1 abstention. Anything else, Commissioner Sickey?
Yes, on the grant for the sheriff's office. If there are any raises, I'd like for it to be stipends versus physical raises. Because if the grant goes away next year, then we're on the hook for all that.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Sicking to, would you reword that to basically any raises be in the form of stipends rather than outright raise?
The grant money would be used as stipend money or equipment money, I guess, is that how you'd say it, Shelley? The grant money would be used as stipend money or for equipment, not a raise.
Right.
Right.
And only for the positions that the grant says it'll pay for.
Right, as far as raises or stipends, I'm sorry, yes.
The prosecutor's offices are also included, and no one has spoken about that. I don't know if y'all want to wait until they apply for it and get the money, or if you want to address them also.
I think it
That
needs to
includes
be
both
addressed.
attorneys' offices.
I think it needs to be addressed now.
If you want to set those as stipends also. That way there won't be any discussion when the grant money comes in.
Can we do that in one motion, or does that need to be a separate motion? Any grant money used for pay increase to be considered stipends and
For both, for
for,
SB 22.
okay, for SB 22.
Yeah.
But we used the term equipment in there with it. This is just raises. The raises funded by SB 22 will be stipends.
Sorry.
The raises from SB 22 will be stipends, and drop any suggestion or relation on equipment, because the equipment doesn't tie to a stipend.
Right, but it's tied to the grant, which I guess it can be separate. I mean, it's.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the motion is fine, with the exception we don't talk to the equipment on that, because it,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll need to.
Do you have that worded, Pam, or do you need that?
I'll re-listen to it. Best I can.
Well,
I think basically what we're saying.
Eliminate the equipment part out of the.
yeah, just to wipe the equipment part out, because the stipends are associated with the raises.
Yeah, and you can basically say any increase in personnel money in the SB 22, and instead of giving it in the form of raises, be given as stipends, and just ignore the equipment part of it.
Yeah. There will be some money spent for that, but
Sure, but that'd be a one-time thing anyway. All right, we have a motion, Commissioner Sicking.
Can Commissioner Sicking modify his motion to say stipends and fringe benefits?
Oh,
Yes.
Stipends and fringe benefits?
Okay.
The
So do I need to?
That's all the taxes that go with that money.
So I need to redo the motion?
Just say as stipends and fringe benefits.
Okay, stipends and fringe benefits. Fringe benefits.
Okay, so we have a motion, Commissioner Sicking. We have a second. Your second still stand?
yes, sir.
All right, Commissioner Hollowell, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. That motion passes 5-0.
Okay. I'd like to make a proposal of cutting our contingency. Cut it in half or 3/4, whatever y'all think. Bring it down from 2 to 1 million or down to 500,000, I think. What do y'all think about it?
What is it set at right now?
2 million.
Has it been 2 million
Forever.
forever?
Prior to my employment, there never was one.
You want to explain purpose for that, or? Just so,
Just cut the budget back a little bit and I guess help us tighten the belt just a little bit.
it's pretty easy to use that contingency,
It can be sometimes.
especially if there's a lot of it there.
And like I said, I'm still learning all this stuff, so if y'all got concerns about it or whatever, just
I'm guilty of being quick to use the contingency
Yeah.
money every year.
Oh, well.
I'm guilty of it.
We probably all are. I mean, but the only concern I have about cutting it too much is if something happens that we need to do some capital improvements. What do we got in capital improvements, Shelley?
In general fund, the only thing I put in there is the weigh station.
Which is 500,000.
Yes.
We just put $1 million back in there last week.
You always have permanent improvement.
Oh, that's,
So what do we got in permanent improvement?
Well, with the money from Crest going back in there. Right now we got 2.7, but add a million in there, so you got 3.7.
3.7 permanent improvement.
Yeah.
All right.
And that money doesn't, since that's in that fund, does it have to be, we can use it how we want through the year. It doesn't have to be set on the budget, planned ahead for. My question.
Well, most of that's already, that I've balanced, budgeted in contingency. So what we
Okay.
pay, what I have right now is, like the air conditioning units Rick wants to replace, our property insurance, not the road and bridges that y'all pay for y'all's own, but the general fund property insurance comes out of there. There's 50,000 for plumbing and electrical and 200,000 for buildings and grounds, and the rest is contingency.
So what do you got uncommitted?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you have uncommitted out of that 3.7? That way we'll know what we're talking about.
628,000.
Okay. What's your motion, Matt?
No, yes. So, and then in contingencies, right now it's 2.1, but I need to go back in there and put the crest building money in there.
Okay, but that's 3.7 in permanent improvement outside the general fund money.
Yes.
Okay, with 600,000 roughly, so you got a little over 3 million for permanent improvement. So if we wanted to go budget something, say for the Prosperity Bank out of that,
Yes.
okay?
And we can do that in the middle of the year. That's a separate thing, correct?
Yes,
No.
because it's in contingency.
That's what I was
Oh,
getting at.
because it's
It
in
doesn't have-
contingency, yeah,
It
so,
doesn't have, yeah.
so it is budgeted dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, what's your
That was
motion,
my-
Matt?
Well, I hear everything else talked about there.
So,
We should have sufficient money in permanent improvement should we have a building issue.
But that money is only for capital improvements, replacements.
But a remodel or
Yeah.
anything like that would be, so,
if we did have a catastrophic air conditioning issue, is that part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
But to be clear, your motion deals only with contingency, right?
Right.
But that,
general fund contingency.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
but having that money
Yes.
available for
That's right. We just
the
need-
big things that would come up, we'd have it.
We just needed to know that in order to.
And if there is a disaster, a tornado, a flood,
We can declare an emergency.
Right.
you can declare emergency and budget from fund balance and general fund, or any fund.
All right, for educational purposes, that permanent improvement money, how's that affect our, setting our tax rate?
That comes off of your M&O.
Okay.
It's a penny and a half. It's been a penny and a half.
I like the idea of cutting it back. It'll help keep us.
It's a shame we have to do that to police the court, but that's what.
Well, I wouldn't look at it that way. I just look at it as, we know that we've got some gaps to make up. And the papers made it seem like, not the paper, but just the perception is that we've done a bad job. We've done a really good job. We haven't gone above the effective rate in like 7 or 8 years. But all of our expenses have gone up, so now we're kind of in a bind where we gotta close a gap. We've done a great job, but with all the crazy inflation and the cost of everything, we've just got a gap to close over the next few years, so we've got to be very mindful of that.
Well, and it was investments, it was long-term investments, parking lots, the Prosperity Bank building, those things they're long-term investments. So,
We've done too good a job, but just the cost of everything have gone up too high.
but but there's still things we could have shaved, or we could have held a little tighter rein.
Sorry to hijack you, but you get it
No,
all
no,
covered.
no.
So the setting aside of the permanent improvement, we didn't have to borrow any money when we restored the courthouse outside and inside, because that money was already there. So that's what that money is for, is just to grow and use for our needs without having to borrow money.
And it's old news, but I think we spent about 7 or 8 million on the courthouse, and it cost the county 2.6 million, something like that. We got pretty good return on investment on that deal.
I think we probably spent a little more than that, but,
9 million, something like that, it cost us 2.6, I
yeah, or
think.
something, yeah. But that's both inside and out.
Right, right.
They redid the stairs, replaced all the windows, and then the inside.
So where some folks might not necessarily agree with it and thought it was a poor investment, we got about a 300% return on our money, I guess.
With the state grant and
Yeah.
permanent improvement money savings.
So Matt, you was on 500,000.
Do I?
You were suggesting reduce the contingency to 500,000? The contingency in general fund?
We can
I think he said a million.
cut it in
didn't you?
half, or we can cut it 3/4.
Yeah, he-
Cut it in half, we still have $1 million. We cut it 3/4, we got 500,000 to play with.
You got a recommendation, 500,000? We got an auctioneer.
You could go to 500 and,
With the three being in general, I'm sorry, with the three being in permanent improvement, I think we should be fine at 500,000.
Make a motion, we cut it back to 500,000.
Second.
You quick on that, wasn't you, big dog?
All right then, any
I
further
like it.
discussion?
Who seconded that?
It's, okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Sicking, to reduce the contingency in the general fund to 500,000. Second, Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 5-0. You're right about that, we're too prone to.
And I'm guilty of it.
Well, we all are. Okay. Commissioner Sicking, what else might you have?
That's it.
That's it?
I have some.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to add $25 to the county clerk dues line. She was just informed her dues are going up.
Now, $25, I don't know if we can do that.
You better talk to her.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, we just got this.
We're tightening our purse strings, man.
$25. What was it Gary says? That really adds up over time.
It does, it does.
It does. Okay.
I need to add $425 to DPS subscriptions. They bought a mapping system software package last year and prepaid for their annual maintenance. So I need to move it into their line item. So we need a budget for that.
425 to DPS.
Yes.
For some reason, I'm not hearing it real well this morning.
And I need to add $1,869 to EMS subscriptions for the same reason, except for theirs is the HAAS alert, HAAS. Kevin bought that like in 20 or 21 and prepaid for 5 years of maintenance. So I will have to move that. We paid for it, it's in prepaid expense, I just had to move it out. I think that's all I have.
Did you get those amounts?
Motion to approve those amounts that she just listed.
We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to approve the amounts as listed to this next budget.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Anybody else have anything that they wish to bring forward?
August 15th is the last day you can set a tax rate above the voter approval rate if you so choose, so that we need to decide on the next court a tax rate. I went and sat, Commissioner Snuggs and I went and sat with the appraisal district and redid our worksheets. And the figures, the tax rate using all of our unused increments for the last 3 years comes out to 0.3243. Our no new revenue rate is 3.113. And our voter approval rate without using any unused increments is 3.189. So if we go up, if we use the voter approval rate with all the unused increments, that's a 0.013, that's a penny and 1.3 pennies. And that doesn't require an election.
Okay, and we need to do that on the next court.
Next
on
court.
the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I figured taxes last court, I figured them on at the voter approval rate of, well, right below at 3.188.
What, this unused increment, how much of that could we utilize? What'd that amount to? Very little, right? With our new formula? It's misleading because if you read the legislation when it passed, it suggested we could take a 3.5% increase in revenues each year. And it's my understanding, visiting with Shelley and folks, that we're not really going to generate 3.5% increase.
Our unused increment rate from 2020, which would be FY '21, but right now the taxes are based on, like, we're working on 2023 valuations for FY '24. So 2020 valuations are FY '21's budget. So the unused increment rate on 2020 was 0.0289. The unused increment rate for 2021 was a negative 0.0288. So those two basically wipe each other out.
So we gained nothing from that, we were,
Right.
okay?
And so the unused increment from 2022 is 0.0053. And because the 0.013, that includes the unused increment for 2023.
Okay, that's about clear as mud, but bottom line is we didn't glean 3.5% increase in our revenues.
No, it's not a true 3.5%.
So the one thing that I didn't understand about the 3.5% cap, I thought it was only at the tax rate. We'd have $800 billion in new bills. I'm just throwing a crazy number out there.
The new bills aren't included in this.
Right, but if we have those new builds and generate that extra money, it just reduces what
Well,
everybody else is paying. Like, if, easy numbers, I'm paying $100 this year of Cooke County taxes. And next year, the county gets, $100 million in new businesses that give us 3.5% more revenue, like my $100 could go down. Am I understanding that correctly?
no,
I thought that's why it adjusted the tax rate so much.
because the new bills are separate.
Okay, they're separate.
Right.
I thought it tallied up into the 3.5
No.
cap. Okay,
No, no.
okay.
So,
We talked 1,000 numbers last week and that threw me off.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
based on, when I figured it at 3.188, the new bills for all three taxes that we have brings in $484,536
Okay.
additional.
Okay. And that's not in the 3.5.
That is not
Okay,
in
that makes me
the,
feel better because I thought the state held our hands even harder with it whenever they block out that.
no, so then you figured the tax rate based on the certified value, then you add this to the numbers you get off
Okay,
the certified
okay.
value.
That got lost when we were at the appraisal district.
Yeah.
I thought,
So the,
you see what I'm saying? I thought that new builds was part of the 3.5%.
No. And so, if I refigure the new amount, or all of it, at the voter approval with the unused increments, that'll go up, because it's 0.3243.
Okay, so right now the voter approval rate's 3189.
Right.
Okay, what's our current tax rate?
It's 3130.
Okay, so 0.50, 0.59.
That's only half a penny that we can go. Thought we could get 1.3.
But I mean, even if we raise it, the most we can raise it to 0.59 from what we actually had last year. Less than a penny. Have you, well, starts, have you done the numbers to see how much that's going to deplete fund balance? But you can't do that until we get you preliminary budget numbers, I'm guessing.
It's a wild paperwork of formulas.
It's
Get all this
0.3364.
together.
I'm sorry.
0.3364.
I'm just glad we don't have to do it.
What is 3364, Shelley?
Our current tax rate.
I know,
Okay.
we can.
Versus 3189?
Yes, because that's bringing it, well, 0.3113 is no new revenue. So that brings in the same amount of money as 3364.
Okay. Oh, okay. What'd you say, 72 pages to calculate that? 72 pages of instructions to calculate that?
Yeah.
She's not joking, it's insane.
Oh, I've seen it. I mean, I just didn't want to
It's
misquote the number.
It's,
I'm glad the two Shelleys know how to do it. We got Shelley here and Shelley at CCAD.
this. It goes line by line. Line 1. See, it starts with line 1.
I think next year would, after we set this year's budget, throughout the whole year, we need to be looking at efficiencies in every department, choking down on, conference expenses and anywhere we can really close some gap. Outside agencies need to be made aware that we're going to be probably pulling them back too. We need to really see which one of those are depend on our funds the most. We've got some year-long budget things to work on to close this gap some more to take care of our taxpayers.
Agreed.
But if we're going to make changes to these nonprofit stuff, we really need to get them a heads up and we need to give it to them early.
Yes, for sure.
And we don't just need to talk about it and forget it the next 2 weeks as soon as we're all not sweating budget.
And it's not popular with some people, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me and, that's the first thing they say, some of these outside agencies don't need to depend on the county funds, but some do.
As a suggestion, one of the things you can do is, the 25 cents y'all adopted for the crosswalk money that people pay when they register their cars, you can increase that. And that goes to CASA and Abigail's Arms.
Of course, that's a tax increase, is the only, I mean,
Yeah,
but everybody gets to share it though, because everybody registers vehicles.
Yeah. There's some way, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. It's gonna take a year long of probably having some meetings and talking about how we want to do it.
But some
I'm
of them, if we
proud
have
of where,
some,
Matt, these are good, for this meeting, we talked about following, these are good things. We're better step in the right direction than we were when we left court last time.
did you brought up conference expense. I collected some numbers. You realize that our request for conference expense this year is $50,000 higher than anything we've spent in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, we've got several that here's one never spent more than $7,400. They've asked for $12,000. There's one office that combined with forfeiture monies and general fund monies have $24,500 in conference expense. You've got one that hasn't, here's one with $2,639, the most they spent in the last 3 years. They're asking for $8,000. You guys want to go look at that?
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like in the times that we're in, only people that are required to go to conference, like if we don't go to conference, we get pulled from the court by the state. You know, to me, that's vital.
And the elected
reason to
officials have got to
conference.
go. I don't think, like you see now, they're proposing deputy clerks and stuff of that nature. And, you know, when we're flush with money, that's good. But, you know, we're cutting everywhere else. And I think conferences, we can reduce conference expense and it won't have a huge impact on county services.
Yeah, it won't hurt cancer. And, you know, and then go to paying part of the raises.
You know, I would suggest, you guys want me to make some suggestions, or what do you want to do? I mean, I start off with the district clerk. I'd cut it by 50%. And I mean, none of this is popular, but everybody's got to tighten the belt.
You talk about conference,
Conference expense,
Okay.
looking at their history, if I've looked at it correctly, and y'all don't take my word for it, looks like that the last 3 years, the most they spent is $2,639, and their ask is $8,000. You know, I would say cut it to 4. I mean, how much, yeah. Do what, Pam? Yeah, yeah.
Are you're
Well, yeah,
required
she-
to have so many a
Many
year.
hours, I have to go to election night, and I try to go to at least one by,
Which is vital.
Yeah, so, but if we cut you back to 3,500,
it'd be pretty close for two. I just went, it was over 1,000, so
Yeah.
right at a little over 2,000.
yeah,
This
so
is the max you spent in the last 3 years.
$2,355.
So,
If we cut it to 3,500, Veteran Services, he's asking 1,700, but I don't think he's been to any conferences, so he probably needs to go.
Right. So we cut mine, that come out of Chelsea. Something.
Leave it well in there to send her some.
A little bit, but it doesn't need to be,
$1,000?
what, mine, easily,
I mean, well, if she goes anywhere and stays a night or two, it's $1,000.
yeah. We'll just cut down to 1,000.
Like I said,
He hadn't gone. I mean,
Cut my travel and stuff.
no,
We talked about it.
I mean, no, we didn't, you were here, I didn't.
I know.
I can't make no magic
I
outside
go
of this
sleep
court.
sometimes, so, you know,
I mean, you know, that's,
I didn't have my no-dos with me.
yeah. Like I said, looking at the Veterans Service guy, he doesn't go often. He went before, and it was about that much money. So he's asked for $1,700 once every 4 years. So I don't think that's probably a big deal with the Veteran Service guy.
Let me
You're
ask
talking
you
about cutting
something
it too?
here. Before
I'm
we
not.
before we go any farther with this, is this something we can vote on the 14th when we come back on the 14th? The reason that I'm asking this is, we're just sitting here arbitrarily cutting.
maybe we can just ask these departments to
I think so.
give us their bottom amount.
Yeah, I think so. I'd rather hear it from them than,
Okay.
because there might be things we don't know about that.
Absolutely. They're going to tell you, they're going to come up here and tell
Well,
you, I got to go,
I know that.
I got to take my clerk, I got to.
Then that's where we've got to look through that and go, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
rather
We
than-
need to look at it. It's, they're are changing rules on us all the time. I mean, there may be some conferences that they need to go to.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And that's, you know.
And I don't,
Later, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be cut, but I don't want to cut somebody and they gotta come back.
well, $50,000 is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's not a one of them that's gonna come up here. Pam did say, hey, you can cut mine, okay? I doubt you'll see another one of these folks that's gonna come do that. And I'm not picking on any of them. I mean, all of us, I mean, I'd like to take my road supervisor to everything too.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's where I'm at with this. Here's the list. I'm done.
Well,
If y'all want
if
no,
we-
I don't disagree,
If
but.
we can come back and vote on this on the 14th,
Send it out from.
or I'll
Go
go
talk to them,
to,
say,
I'll
what
go
is
to
the
every one.
bottom dollar that
Yeah.
you could do this year to get all your vital conferencing done?
And if they've got a forfeiture fund, that if they can fund, and we can't tell them, we cannot tell them that they have to spend their forfeiture fund for training,
Right.
okay? But if they're gonna spend 12,000 out of the forfeiture fund for training, and then turn around and spend 10 out of the general fund, that don't make sense to me, guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, rather than me doing, here's the best way to do this. One of you guys and I need to go to every one of these people here and look them right in the eye and say, what do you really need?
I feel like you're here every day with them. Just go do theirs.
That's fine.
All right, Chelsea, send out an email.
I'm too easy though.
Have Chelsea send out an email that says, what is the absolute bottom line that you can do for your conference?
But if, you might as well let them come back to all of us, if, you know, I
I
mean,
can't look them in the eye though.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I mean, it's not,
To the chief budget officer.
I mean, it's easy to
I'm not
talk.
gonna be mad at you about it.
Oh,
Well, they
no, I'm
shouldn't
not worried
anybody
about
be.
getting mad at me. I'm just worried about, you know,
I mean, it's just,
I'm not worried about it.
and
Yeah.
I mean, it is a way to cut out a little fluff to go towards.
And I agree with
To go towards
that.
the raises.
I agree with that. My only thing was.
and I don't
Matt brought it
disagree,
up
because I'd like for everybody
eloquently.
to have a chance to defend their position.
Yeah.
But if we come up here and they just throw a number at me and plead for something, and there's no numbers, no, hey, I got this many hours I gotta get, I've got this kind of plan, numbers don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Majority of them all need minimum of 20 hours. I don't know what.
Well,
they go and get, or how, I don't
But
know
in some of
anything about that.
some of their justifications, though, were, I want to take my deputy and I want to make 3 events a year and stuff of that nature. And if we want to do that, fine. But if we, seems like $12,000 for more than one, you know, there's $10,000 or $12,000 on 3 or 4 of these offices. And there's a $50,000 increase over last year. Did we not do any training last year? Have we not met our requirements over the last 3 years? You know,
So, but here's the thing. You guys and Adam have the corporate knowledge of probably who needs what more than the 2 new guys do. And I say new guy, I'm consider myself a new guy again. If 2 of us go and you might remember what they got last year, or you might remember discussions from last year or something like that, it's fine.
I just looked at the budget sheets for the last
Well,
3
you can
years.
look at the budget sheets, but by the same token, if you might remember, like this year, for instance, next year we'll be going, yeah, but we discussed that, and we discussed that.
Yeah, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, Judge, but
All right, just put it this way, I'm gonna just take one of you with me when I go talk to them. And I'll see whoever's available.
That's right, but I mean, Chelsea sent out an email.
My notes for veterans say that his annual conference is in August.
on the veterans, but he hadn't done one in 3 or 4 years. This is the first 1,700 he's asked for and forever, looked to me like.
Who's this?
Veterans Affairs,
He spent $1,400 in 2021.
yeah. And then he didn't do anything, so every 3rd or 4th year, he's come ask for 1,700, so that doesn't sound totally irrational to me.
I think I thought he told us he went every other year.
So,
No, we just ask him, make sure.
but see, he's not one, I'm saying he's one of them that you probably don't challenge a
Right,
whole
yeah.
lot. But, I mean,
But he might as well say, hey, I'm not gonna go this year, I'm too busy.
and like I
Take it
said,
out.
we've got, if they're sending their deputies and stuff of that nature, and now then they've got their deputies speaking at conferences, so now they've kind of got them tied into the network. You know, anyway,
That's one thing I think they need to stay in the state.
but I can't get it in the state of Texas, man. I got to go to Vegas.
Gotta go to Washington DC.
It would be funny if it wasn't funny.
I know.
Okay, moving right along. The only other one that kind of stood out to me, and I have no problem. I mean, it's child welfare. Now, I love children, okay, but child welfare is asked for $13,500. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shelley. They've spent $3,879. Most they've spent in the last 3 years.
Well, I think the board is,
Less active, maybe, or whatever.
that's a good way to put it.
I'm not
yeah.
dissing anybody,
No, I'm
folks.
not, I couldn't think of the proper way to, yes, they're
But
less.
are my
active.
numbers correct?
Yes,
they've asked for
and I have
13,000?
just put in this budget the same every year.
Yeah, and we put in $13,500. I mean, some of
We
that,
put that in every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, so we just need to do it again and set the tax rate to fund it, or take it out of savings?
Yeah, you're right, that's what I'm saying, let's visit them.
Visit them.
We got a couple weeks, make a note.
Well,
Email.
I don't know who's on the board
So,
anymore.
and that's part of the problem.
Huh?
I'll call
I'm
you.
not gonna go around and visit with you,
You're not.
I'm knee deep in all my road projects, I gotta finish before October, so.
Well, and here's,
But I mean, the email, they'll email you back saying, I can do
Yeah.
this, or I need this,
Okay.
you know?
Whatever you say, sir.
Come on now, Judge. It's just a good way to cut some spend.
and
It's
I mean,
also
if the
a good
kids
way to-
need it, they get it.
Do what?
Go ahead. Tell us.
It's also a good way to spread goodwill and, you know,
Well, I mean, and we go,
interest in.
I mean, it'd be real easy to go say, hey, y'all realize y'all haven't
Commissioner
spent,
comes and visits you. Oh,
And then if I've got time to go visit, I will, but like, I've just got, it's just,
that's all I'm asking.
yeah.
That's why I
You just let me know, you have her email.
I would.
this job is not easy.
Yeah.
Shelley, we still have the $170,000 in for pagers.
Yes.
I think we're gonna spend 28. Worst,
What now?
I think we're gonna spend about 28.
What about if it ain't right? What about if it don't work?
I think they're gonna work. Well, let's just, okay, do we wanna spend $170,000 on new pagers?
Well, if we can get them to work, I don't mind saying spend the money that we're gonna spend, but if they don't work, we're gonna have to have something to take care of it.
I'm confident it's gonna work, but we can leave it in there a couple more weeks. When are we looking to get the repeater?
We're looking at,
So here's a look on how much those pagers cost. If we are to cut our contingency to 500,
Uh-huh.
that's a third of it right there.
That's
gone.
right.
So that puts it into perspective.
That's right.
all right, in answer to your question, we can't do anything until we visit with the water board, which is the 9th of the month, okay?
Next Wednesday.
Then you will, if they agree, I can't answer that. I don't know when the pager, I don't know when, we ordered it last week. The repeater, we ordered a
has
repeater.
been ordered.
The repeater's been ordered, the antennas are sitting in Denison, Texas. Installation should happen quickly. And then also in the cost estimate, that is, they will do our licensing application, stuff of that nature. So I don't know if he can go out there and set it up, and I'm sure he can go out and set it up and test it. I don't know how long the licensing process is on this, maybe 10, 12 days. So. But I have considerable amount of confidence it's gonna work, but, and we should know before we approve a final. But, and I don't know that that's exhaust everything, I still don't, I mean, I don't know that we've exhausted every effort. So there's still another tower location, but the hardware's the expense there, the 26,000, well, that's not true. Was it 11, it's 16 for the hardware and 11 for the installation. So, all right.
I need probably a affirmative on raises because the sheriff's office has to get the school resource officer salaries to the schools.
We got to post elected officials.
And we need to post the elected officials' salaries in the newspaper.
One thing I had on my list I want to come back to is look at possibly giving a 3% straight across the board.
Excluding the 6%, excluding the ones that's getting the Senate Bill 22 money.
No, they would get it because what they're getting is a stipend. They would get the,
Oh, they get, but
it'd be a straight
1 year
3%
thing.
across the board, and whatever he uses to increase their pay is stipend. If it goes away, it goes away.
that gives them a 9%, and everybody
If
else a
he-
3.
If he can give it, if that's what he does with it.
Okay.
I mean,
But we're
that's a
not
stipend, but it will go away when the grant goes away.
See, that's a 1 year deal, basically, if it goes away.
It's a 2-year minimum.
Huh?
2-year deal minimum.
State budget's biennium.
They just budgeted up 2
Okay.
years.
But still, it's a temporary thing, if you look at it that way, okay?
If that's
It's
what
not
he
a
chooses to
permanent-
do with it, I mean,
Okay, I'm good.
he could cut it back to 3% on the stipend, or however he, I mean, that's what he, anyway.
I'm good.
Yeah, straight across the board on it for everybody. But in saying that, the nurse out there in the Cooke would also just get the 3%. They would not get the increased raise he's wanting to give them. It'd be straight across the board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
I mean,
I think
it
the
sounds
sheriff,
bad, it sounds like I'm picking on, and I'm not picking on anything. Respect the heck out of what y'all do, but every department's got people they want to give a raise to, do good work. But, I mean, if you look at the insurance, what we're doing and stuff, they're ready, if you include the insurance, what we picked up, plus the 3%, it's putting it over a 6% this year.
oh, people are, even if we did give a raise at all, the cost to the county for each employee is increased just based on insurance and benefits, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you're saying is that, you know, giving everybody a 3%.
Funded by the county,
We
funded
don't-
by the
yeah,
county.
We don't give the sheriff's department for 3% funded by the county.
Yes.
It's not raising their salary up without the stipend. I understand that.
Yeah.
They
Say
get
that
a,
again.
they get a hell of a
They're
raise
treated-
this year, but only part of it's out of.
They're
our
treated
pocket.
just like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm all for.
Because if the stipend goes away, and they don't get the
Right.
raise, the rest of the employees going away,
That's
we're
right.
getting their salaries out of whack.
No. The stipend would be on top of the,
Right, but But if we do another 3% raise next year, they're gonna get another 3% and they'll still have their 6% stipend. So,
If that's what he chooses to use it on,
Yeah, those-
yes, until it goes away, yes.
what I'm saying is those salaries have to come up with everybody else.
Right.
Okay, and the sheriff's here, he can talk to this better than I can, but on the nurse and the cook, can you hear me, Matt? On the nurse and the cook, I think he's trying to separate them from the basic jail. All of them have to have a basic jailer's license, but in addition to that, then they have to have the skill sets to do either the cooking and manage the food for 212 or to dispense the drugs for the 212. So he was just looking for some separation. Can we give him any help to give him some separation between those two employees?
Might I speak on that?
Come to it.
Please.
So, those two individuals are, I really can't put in the proper words of how important they are to the operation of the jail. The medical, and Commissioner Holloway was correct when he talks about certification, so she's a jailer. She has a jail certification. So she counts towards our employees back there to satisfy the jail commission. She also has to maintain medical certification to deal with the medical issues, and that's what all she handles. So she saves us an incredible amount of money. Without her, we're going to the emergency room, no telling how many times a day with inmates. So, yeah, we need to bump her up to where, number one, we don't want to lose her. She's happy in that position, but we certainly can't afford an RN. I don't know if you guys have priced or seen what RNs make, LVNs, but anyway. Commissioner Sicking said Cooke, and I get it, man, I get it. So she's responsible for, she's not a cook. She's a food services manager, food services director. She's responsible for the orders of ordering all the food products that come in there. She's responsible for all the menus, for all the special folks that, diabetics and so forth. So keeping the product coming and then preparing. She doesn't, but she's in there with with our working inmates. So it's a big job, and it's not just Monday through Friday, right? I mean, if we don't get a truck in, and on Saturday we don't have milk, then she's going to have to go get it for 200 inmates. It's a lot of work. And same thing with that food services. She's a jailer. She has a jail certification. She also has to have food handler's license and separate certification. So both those individuals stand out. They should stand out. They do. Again, it comes down to job descriptions and job responsibilities. So could you come off a little bit? I talked to Elizabeth about it maybe last week. Sure, you can come off of it a little bit, but guys, those raises are paid for. Those raises are funded in that $350,000. It doesn't cost the county anything.
Not
For
right
those-
now, but it will, if the grant goes away.
Well, so we
That's
got
what-
it, so we got it for 2 years. So that's $700,000 for 2 years. There's a politician, Lieutenant Governor, spoke to us last week. And he says, well, as long as I'm Lieutenant Governor, that money's going to be there. He said that he intended that money to be like a stipend that is provided for the county court at law judges and the district judges and attorneys and so forth. So I would think that money will be there for several years, but I would say to you that when the money's not there, whether the grant goes away, whether the inmate housing, then maybe those raises happen.
if you earmark it stipend like you discussed, it'd be a stipend. If it goes away, we'd have to deal with it when it goes away. Does that work?
I have no problem with it. I mean, that's.
Is that
I just don't
doable?
want to be tied to a grant that we have no control. I mean, we really don't have control over anything, but, you know.
Sure, and absolutely, my employees out there, that raise they may get is because of that state stuff. That's why it was intended. So therefore, they know that may not always be there. I think it'll be there for several years, but hey, it's a 2-year gig and the state pulls it, then they have to go back to what.
And that's, I didn't understand that you was wanting to use that part of that 300, that grant money for those raises. I thought you was asking the county to pick that part up. So, yes, I mean, that would fall under the other first deal, I would think.
And in fact, the 6%, and been a while, but the 6% across the board out there didn't even spend the 350.
Right.
It was about 308.
That 325 number you gave us, Shelley, the other day, did that include the kitchen staff and medical person? I think you gave us 325, didn't you?
So I had a really good food services bill. And fortunately, I still do have her in
Yes.
the position.
So it's in there?
She was going to quit. Hard worker, never called me and said, just great work. And she said she would live. What's going on? Well, I can't get off. I can't get any days off. I can't get vacation. It's like having a dairy, you know, have to be there every day. And so she said, you know, if I can just be a jailer, I'll stay. So I find someone else willing to do it. It's not your normal position. It's a whole lot more requirements based on that position. A lot of days I know that maybe she doesn't feel like being there. She doesn't have trouble. And those positions need to be compensated and hired. And they're paid.
It's out of grant money, then I,
As a stipend.
yes, I withdraw.
Shelley says that 325 she gave us the other day did include those two positions with the new proposed salary.
Did or didn't?
Did, I think is what, yeah. So you're looking at 3% across the board.
Yes.
That's the only fair way to do that.
No, he's talking about everybody though. Now, he's talking about the raise.
D-raise.
The raise for all employees.
That's right.
Yeah. That a motion?
Yes.
I'll second that. All in favor?
You go call the vote.
All in favor?
I was waiting for some comments somewhere.
We've got to.
Well,
And
okay.
I know we're closing gaps, we got to. I've been talking this whole time, people probably scared I was gonna be against it, but we gotta get some raises.
And, you know, we're talking about people here. People are so much more important than things
I agree,
in this government here. So
I agree.
if nothing else, we cut out things, but not.
I think there's a lot of places we can pick up efficiencies and
Right.
budgeting might not be so hard next year.
Maybe not. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. That passes 5-0. Is that what you needed, Shelley? Okay, anybody else have anything? What else?
I do have one more thing I'd like, this is Sheriff.
Oh, you've been a busy
Ooh,
guy.
on the spot, Sheriff.
Man,
Matt's been doing his homework here, I guess.
Yeah.
somebody tell you about this meeting today? Is that why
I just saw it,
Appreciate you being here.
He's our security.
There you go.
On the returning the prisoner or whatever, you have to go pick them up. We have a company we pay right now to do that. Could we exhaust that funds first and then see, we don't really have a way of knowing what we're spending on inmate pickups, I guess you'd say. Because it's overtime and fuel and this and that, you know what I'm saying? Do we know if it's been beneficial to send our own, or is it the company, or can you answer that, please?
So we not have much money in there for transport or something, is it like 34,000? We generally reserve that for, we've got a prisoner now in New York, so we have to go get at some point, and those are priced
36,000?
36,000. So, New York trip may be 6 to 8 grand. We're not going to send our employee that far in a vehicle. So, those trips that are way out there, Oregon, Washington State, we've saved that money back for those trips. I can tell you that we save my experience so that we can save a lot of money by going to Tennessee's and Georgia and Arkansas and Kansas, pick up those prisoners ourselves. Sometimes it's a day trip. Out of state typically is not on the road and come back. I just think we save a lot of money. If we just say, hey, we're going to go hire out every out of state trip. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you how many we do this year, but $46,000 in a trip, that paper is bad up.
So, and this is just out of curiosity, what level of severity do we go pick up the prisoners? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, so they're all filmed.
Now, what he's asking is, what's your max distance you'll go send one of your deputies before you use a contractor?
No,
What level of crime?
what level of crime?
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
All felonies. District courts issue felony warrants. In fact, we have Georgia. We are commanded by the district court, if you will, pick up those inmates. We have a certain amount of time to pick them. In fact, I had to come before the court early on, the first year. There was a travel policy where out-of-state travel had to be approved by the court. Before the travel occurred, sometimes when you're on mid, it's 2 weeks. It's too late. We only had 10 days to go get it. And it's going to be 2 weeks before y'all get it to give us approval. So I came and said, hey, look, we can't operate out there. When y'all agree, and go with it, so we don't have to see approval on the
Christian, can you hear him on the microphone?
It's not working.
It's not green.
Flashing red.
Yeah. I didn't,
That's why I got
So,
Okay.
that's a little better.
You can hear now.
so with,
So let me, what did you not hear?
Most of it.
I was
You didn't want to
afraid
hear
that was
anything
the
anyway,
deal.
Shelley.
so my brain goes, on this circumstance, my brain goes to wear and tear on the vehicle that we can't get, and then if you're short-staffed in the jail already, sending somebody out, which I'm sure that person's designated as a transfer person, but I mean, I'm just thinking all the way around.
Hey, guys, I'm a taxpayer, so I'm all about saving a penny.
We all are.
We try to save pennies every which way we can out there. And so I would prefer my employees not be out on the roads for long trips. But when a trip is going to cost the county $6,000, and we can do it for 2 days per diem, 1 night in a hotel, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer to spend $300 or $400 versus $4,000 or $5,000. We can price more. We can price more of those medium trips. You get past Kansas. I mean, that's about as far north as we go that way. Of course, we've gone to Louisiana and Arkansas and Georgia. So, kind of surrounding states, New Mexico. But we're going to utilize that money when we have to go to those New Yorks and Oregons, and it's pricey.
How often do you, I know it depends, but like this year, how many runs have you had to make?
Oh, I have to go back and get Larry to pull that number, but a lot.
You ever send more than one person? I mean, for instance, you're talking about a serious felony, and that seems like that's a.
It's not necessarily the level of crime. If it's a trip to where, say it's a 14, 15 hour
Yeah.
one way, and so that employee's going to get a hotel room, get the inmate. Sometimes we'll send 2 employees so that they can tag team driving on the way back, and we don't have to stay and try to find a jail somewhere along the way that will accept that inmate. And so
I was about to ask, they don't spend the night in a hotel, the inmates?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's why I was curious about that, just for my
So,
own personal. That makes more sense.
some states are kind of funny when you just want to bring somebody in, throw them in their jail. But it can be a problem, and sometimes it can be a real problem if you break down on the way back with an inmate in the middle of nowhere, and now you're stuck trying to find a jail that will accept
I need a
prisoners.
county
So-
airplane.
Yeah, there you go. Come get us. But sometimes we'll use 2, but it's to tag team the drive on the way back, so we don't have to stay in a hotel with the prisoner. But I think we're saving a lot of money if we weren't looking another way. So I just say I try to save that money for those New Yorks and Oregons and Washington States and things that we're going to need it for.
Okay.
Explains a lot to me, so
That answer your question?
appreciate it.
I hope you can see nothing but the glow.
You have a motion out of that, or
Did it?
say again?
Never did they? We're not.
I said, do you have one out of that?
Oh, no.
I can't tell whether they're smiling or frowning because all I can see is the sun.
To digress for half a minute, the vote on the raise, the district judge asked to raise her court reporter. The statute says that she can raise it up to 10%, and anything over that requires commissioner's court approval. And her increase is more than
23.
10% and more than 3%.
I mean, I wonder if our court reporters are all fully utilized. what if we could share a county court report, county court law court reporter with the district court reporter?
Yeah, I thought they did, but maybe not.
Those are definitely efficiencies that we can find in the next, coming up for sure. I guess if you got a big salary decision to make there.
Well, that's, I realized that I had intended to visit with the judge, the district judge.
Shelley, do you know, do they share court reporters between courts upstairs, or they do not? Okay. Do you have any idea, just a ballpark figure, if we went with the judge's request, what are we looking at? I mean, it's hard to, I know it would depend on how many trials and how many, are we talking $4,000 or $5,000? We're talking about $20,000? We're talking about,
All right, I know that you're an advocate of everybody being treated equal.
yeah,
So if you go pay this district court coordinator
then,
$115,000, then your county court reporter's gonna want that same $115,000.
Right.
And I suspect everybody's not fully utilized. And again, that's just me speculating,
well,
kinda like this deal here.
that's valid.
Need to go ask somebody that,
The increase in pay is 21,733.
21,000, okay.
that's the difference, that's the increase request.
Increase, right.
And so, if
Times
you're
that
gonna,
on top
times
of the-
two, if you do that, then I wouldn't begin to consider that. Not everybody's equal there.
Now, the court reporters are not county employees.
Yes, they are.
They are? Okay.
Would that be on top of this 3%?
No, that would be in lieu of. She can raise it 10%, but anything over that, Commissioners Court has to approve it. 10% puts it at 102,440.
And that's for the district court reporter.
Yes. Now,
And
county
nobody
court of
else has
law
asked,
is
okay?
at the,
That nobody
is
else
a
has
budget,
asked.
just like anybody else's budget.
Yeah.
So if she did the 10% on her own plus the 3%, we'll just get what we did. What percentage was she asking for?
23.
23%.
She can't get the firms down in Denton or Dallas to come up here because the statute says a substitute court reporter makes the same pay as the sitting court reporter. And they can make more money staying down there than coming up here.
Okay, so are we paying them contract by the hour? In other words, are we talking about a fill-in court reporter, Shelley?
Yeah, so that's what the deal is. Like the reasoning for the pay increase was not for our court reporter, it's because whenever that one takes off or is ill, we can't get anybody to come fill in because they won't come fill in
Right.
for that daily rate, for
Okay.
that hourly rate.
So we have to pay our court reporter for a substitute court reporter to earn the same hourly rate or day rate or as our sitting court
A
reporter.
place where state statute has hindered us.
You talking about unfunded mandate?
I don't know if that's an unfunded mandate, but it's a mandate.
It's unfunded. You fix to pay for it out of county tax dollars.
Very well.
So, is that where you come up with that $30,000 or something, Shelley,
21,000?
just now? That,
The salary right now is 93,127. The judge asked for 115. The difference is 23%. $21,000.
but, yeah.
So our current court reporter salaries would be increased 23%, so that if we needed fill-ins, they would give the same as our,
They would be willing to come up here for that money instead of,
This would only, I mean, I'm only addressing district court.
right,
But yes, the visiting court reporter would make the same
same as.
hourly, daily
Yeah.
rate as the sitting court
So
reporter.
therefore, you would need to raise the sitting current court reporter salary.
Right, you
That's what we're
can't
really
keep the
talking
court
about here.
reporter at what she is and pay the
Right.
visiting more. You can't do that.
And they won't come for what she's making. And then, do we know how many hours, or, I mean, I'm sure she's got vacation time, that's the kind of stuff we're trying to offset, sick time. In other words, it won't cost us $123,000 a year, it will cost us that divided by 2,080, and
She's only asking for 115.
okay, 115,000. So, she takes the day off. So, we pay whoever comes in by the hour.
Well, not necessarily if she takes a day off when a case has settled or not, if it's on the docket to go and one of them has asked for a continuance and so she takes the day off then there's no visiting court reporter
Right,
needed.
but if you have a visiting court reporter, you pay her by the hour.
Right, but there are times when they're having court upstairs and across the street. They need a visiting to sit in that one because this one is working.
Okay, but to get that hourly rate, you divide that 115,000 by 2,080 hours.
Yes.
And then you pay them that much per hour.
Yes.
So the increase on the budget is gonna be her salary plus whatever we pay visiting court reporters.
Well, there is a fund for court reporters, and we pay for it out of there until that fund runs out of money. Then we pay for it out of general fund.
And yeah, okay.
I guess you can look at it this way, we can pay the extra money or, remember, our reporter's out, we won't let them be happening. We
Well,
don't
then-
have a reporter.
In
So we're
theory,
paying the other employees to sit there. Is that right?
well, in theory, if the county court at law doesn't have a trial going, we ought to be able to use the county court's court reporter, who is a full-time county employee.
If you do the 3% across the board and her 10%, she can go up without court approval. That puts it at 105,234.
They go to school.
There is a shortage of court reporters nationally.
It's a hard certification to get.
Judge, you might sit with the county court at law and the district court judge and ask them if the county court reporter cannot fill in for the district court.
I'll do that. But you said they don't currently do that, though.
They don't currently do that,
But
and then
is
you might
there a
ask,
statute that won't allow that to happen? It'd be a scheduling thing then.
well, and then you might ask, if they say we don't have time, you say, well, how many trials have you had in the last year?
I'll do that.
It don't matter how, the number they have is when they fall. They fall, you know what I'm saying?
When the trial falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, I think they use a court reporter on all hearings, all depositions, do they not, Shelley? The district judge?
Yes, the district judge.
See, district judge does that. So,
which I know she, sitting there whenever she brought it up, someday we got a trial going on, she's supposed to be taking deposition too, so she can't
I don't disagree.
Right, no, I'm just,
I got no issue with the need for her, or no, I'm not questioning we need help there. I just want to see if we can use our county court at law court reporter to fill in.
I'll check on that.
And again, all these things are none of them popular. So here I am the bad guy, but you know,
that's why you get paid big bucks here.
I hear you. I make about 10 times what you do too.
I know.
Wes is here. We want to talk to Wes on anything. Wes, you got anything? All good?
All right.
I do have one other thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Tell me about
You're buying lunch?
This is
You're getting in on my time, Matt.
I don't know what happened.
one of the new guys. Don't you know it?
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I just want to clarify one, because when we voted on it, Shelley wasn't here, and it's not.
Okay.
It's not put in the numbers.
What is it?
And that was whenever we was doing the hot tax deal,
Yeah.
Heritage Park.
It's in the numbers, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
think it was
I
in
thought
that
it
stuff
was.
you sent me the other day.
I
yeah,
thought it was.
yeah. I thought it was in the numbers.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, I thought it was blank the other day when you sent it.
You need one more stack, Shelley.
Y'all are driving me crazy.
We're doing a good job then, aren't we?
I think you were already there.
I second that motion.
She's tolerated us for enough years now. You know, if she's not insane, it would help to be.
I'm gonna quit and go feed stingrays in Grand Canyon. They are handwritten in, but I didn't get them entered because I didn't have line items for them. So they're
It is,
Yeah.
okay.
because I don't have the Gainesville Chamber of Commerce, the Medal of Honor, or the Heritage Park.
For the sake of her needing to put numbers in, I would still hope that the judge would go visit with the other two judges. And I know it's not quite what the district judge has asked for, but I think that we offer up 3% and let her offer up 10. I would take that, increase it by 13% instead of 23%.
I'll do that.
You will talk, but what do y'all want? She needs a number. Do we want to put in the 13% or do we want to put in 23%? I mean,
I would prefer to put the 23 and come down instead of try to go back up.
so that works for me, because you're not optimistic, are you?
To readdress the hot, I have 7,000 for Gainesville Chamber, which is painting the mural, 50,000 for Medal of Honor, and 50,000 for Heritage Park.
I just, the one I got from the other day, blank. I just wanted to
Yeah,
make sure.
you can see my handwritten, I say, set up a line item, so
Send me wrong numbers again.
well, that's in a different fund anyway, so, because I had to create lines, I didn't go back and put them in.
Okay, I just was
But
checking
basically
on that.
agrees with
I'm glad,
skid.
thank you for double checking.
I did.
Just to give y'all an idea, if you go up to the voter approval rate with the unused increments versus the voter approval rate, it gives general fund $8,883 more dollars.
8,883, so we're still at 7.2 million or something. Well, we took $1.5 million out of
Yeah.
contingency though.
Yeah, that brings, I mean, short of some
So
other-
that should be, we should be somewhere around 5.5, right?
Yeah, short of some other changes.
Still 5.5 million, but that's progress.
You know, We're gonna chip away at it and get these.
Next year,
chip
a
at it
little
again.
more.
Well, and in theory, we'll have some new growth.
Yeah. Anybody else have any item, that was all the hot funds, wasn't it, that we, okay.
We already encouraged some of those nonprofits, if they could do some type of festival, some type, anything that would attract a crowd and overnight stays, and try to distribute some of that hot fund money to them. So when we're talking to the nonprofit and say, hey, we may have to cut you, but here's something else that might be available to you. You know, I try not to ever present a problem without being able to offer some solution. You know, when people seek to go that route, it's up to them, but.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
Shelley's still putting something together
Oh,
over there.
hi, Sheriff.
Can I ask a question?
Sir?
I thought he used his time
Because it wasn't
up.
very clear when I was sitting over there, maybe I. So, this, I asked for 6% with using grant money. So what's,
3% on top of that out of general fund.
We're gonna put up 3%. And then you're gonna use your grant money as a stipend for your 6% or whatever.
okay,
And if it goes away, it goes away.
And for all the employees watching, we haven't voted on a final budget, so don't go put that 3% in your budget yet.
Oh, and it's important, I think, that you
We
let
need
them
to
know
use
that
it
that
for school something.
goes away. if
I'm
it
sorry.
goes away.
The
So,
school and everything.
rather than
But he can give them.
to start counting on that.
Well, if he gives it 3% and y'all take it back, then what?
Yeah.
Well, then this ain't a final budget.
I mean, I don't see us jerking the raises away, guys.
But,
at this
I mean,
point.
it's,
I understand don't get the chicken before the hatch, but at the same time, we're not gonna sit here and vote the raises in and jerk it out.
well, our 10, it would not be, but, I mean,
But you're right, it's not final
Both
budget.
the ward and runs, I think it was. We'd have to ask Billy.
Shelley, one question. What did we end up giving the fire department?
With the fire
volunteers?
department?
Yeah,
$17,000 plus $26,000 in $10 a run, if they do the same number of runs, I believe.
okay. So that would be the slight difference there is the number of runs.
Well, we increased it by, yeah, that's how you would,
Okay.
$2,000 each.
to take them to 17, right?
Yeah.
And
$10 per call run
if
instead
they,
of the $250 run.
it was $5, wasn't it? We went to 10.
And up the grant match to 20,000 from 10.
So you actual increase was, 11 times 2,000 plus 13,000 for calls, plus 10,000 for grant match, about $50,000 increase.
What do we go to on the amount?
17.
17, yeah.
And like I said, if they do the same number of calls they did last year, which we know they won't, it goes from 13,000 to 26,000.
They're
2,637 runs.
Hard to be looking at my numbers, but I'm real close.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Item number 6, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Commissioner Snuggs. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 11:45.